welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today's episode, we're going to be speaking about sex after kids. And for this episode, we have a special guest person. Her name is Jody. So, hi, Jody, and welcome to this podcast.
Hi, Jade. Thanks for having me.
Today, we're going to talk about so many things. But before that, can you just introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, my name is Jody. I am a mother of 2 children. I am happily married. I am also the owner of a kids' clothing business.
Boy.
And that's pretty much it.
Boy, okay, miss. All right, miss. So you say you have 2 kids. So you answer the questions already. You have 2 kids. How do you balance being a wife, a mom, and a business owner?
Oh man, balance. Is there even any such thing? Man, sometimes I feel like I'm literally drowning. You see, when you have kids, that's a whole story all by itself because kids demand all your attention. So for me, balance somewhat is like a fairy tale. There are days, I'm not going to lie, there are days when I feel like, yes, I'm Wonder Woman, I'm conquering the world. And there are other days when I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Why did I do this? You know, like that story, like that movie that says, why did I get married? But that's the thought process most times for me. Why did I do this? Yeah. But at the end of the day, sometimes, because even Huzzy, there are times when Huzzy said to me, say, boy, you're not paying me no mind. All you do is housework or all you do is this and the children. Then when you forget about me and next time you say, Lord God, before you start complaining again, I'm going to give him a quick year. I'm going to give him peace quick.
Right.
You know?
That's exactly what I'm going to talk about because I want to know how things are, but I want to know how sex is after you have kids. Because, I mean, you have 2 kids. How is the sex the same? Because I know before kids, and I can talk from before kids, and I'm sure you can. With sex on the entire place and you do anything you want to do. You walk up and down naked and everything. What is it now that you have kids? What is it like?
As you said, before kids, there were little to no limits. But after kids, I mean, it's like life is just this big quickie, as how I put it, where you can't even really plan because sometimes in the planning, something comes up, the kids need your attention, something. So sometimes we will just have spontaneous sex. And even with the spontaneous sex, it has to be in a sense where, okay, I'll look to him and say, babes, come have a shower with me. And he will say, why you want me to shower with you? And you know, him give me that look. And I say, you don't want to shower with me? And he say, all right, I'll come in. You know? That's where it happens. Another time it would be in the early mornings when we just wake up before the kids get up, that is.
Yep.
We have to do our thing then, or late night after we put them to bed, because how we used to go about it throughout the house and so forth, it can't be like that anymore.
Can't take place again. But what happened?
Or it used to happen during the day because one of our children is a baby, an infant.
Right.
And so for it to happen during the day, what we do or what we try to do is to put her to sleep and give our oldest child cartoons to keep him occupied.
Okay. Well, my thing is, all right, say for instance, you guys are having sex in the day or whenever it is, and the child wakes up. What happened? Do you finish it or you stop? Because I know sometimes for a mother's instinct, it is to, the child is crying, I have to stop and attend to the child at this point. Sometimes you're ready for reach climax and that is when the fitness starts. What happened? What is it that you do?
For us, it's basically that's where it ends, you know. The baby gets up and start crying. If we're near climax, Ozzy will say, all right, 2 more minutes, we reach now, you know, I'm there. And that's it. But if not, we're like, okay, we'll pick up this back later.
I mean, does that dampen the mood or it doesn't? Because I mean, you guys would have an understanding of, okay, you guys already know, say you have kids and you have an understanding of what is to be expected. So it doesn't bring a dampening on the mood of the sexual activity in any at all?
Not really. I wouldn't say it dampens the mood because we still try to keep that spark. But there are times when, handling two children, it's a handful sometimes. So there are times when he might be up to it and I'm a bit exhausted. And I literally have to say to myself, no, man, I have to save even that 1%. I can't just drain myself the entire day like that and then not have anything for him. So that's where I'm at now, where I have to, when you speak about balance, that's the part where I try to balance out things to make sure that he doesn't feel left out.
He doesn't feel left out. Okay, awesome. All right, we're gonna take a short break and come back. So welcome back to On the Unfiltered by Jade. We're talking about sex after having kids. We're talking about the pros and cons of it and how it changes afterwards, because obviously it can't be the same as how it was before kids. So we're speaking to Jody in regards to this. Now, what we want to find out is, if it is that your kids sleep in your room, how do you go about it? Because I know, for instance, if it is that I've had friends who their kids sleep in their beds because the kids won't come out of their bedroom and they want to have sex. And what they do is, you can't do the whole hold down and back shot and whatever when the kids in the bedroom. So you probably just lie down side each other and you do that cuddling sex and how is it that, do you do that? Do you practice it or not? Because some persons also would say, no, we don't want to do that because they don't want the kids to wake up and see that we're doing something. What's your view on that?
All right, for us, our older child, he's 7. He sleeps in his room, but the baby stays with us. A perfect example is recently I tried to surprise him. I said I'm giving him a lap dance.
Okay.
So I brought one of our chairs from the living room into the bedroom and told him to take a seat, and I was there dancing. By now, our son was asleep in his room and the baby also.
Right.
But the norm would be for us to be on the bed having sex while the baby is in her crib.
Right.
But for that night, we decided to change up things a bit. So if it was even a case where the baby was on the bed, we decided that the chair was where it was going to be for us. Right. And sometimes that's all it takes, just a little change, a scene, being creative, right. Because me and my husband, we've been in the shower and our bathroom window has a grill on it. And we've been in the shower near the bathroom window swinging like two monkeys having sex in the shower, So you have to be creative with it.
Because the sex life, it can be depleted because of kids, actually. So... All right, so you answered that question also about how is it that you spend time with him apart from having sex. What other, romantic gestures or so you can do with the kids? Do you sometimes leave the kids with, their grandparents or with somebody while you two go out? Because what we realize is persons after having kids, that life, the romanticness, the sex life, everything depletes. What do you do to keep your marriage spicy? Because the important thing that people need to know also is, after you have kids and you spend all this time invested in the kids and you're giving everything to the kids and you're doing everything for the kids and you're neglecting your spouse, when the kids grow up and leave, you are left with a shelf because you don't know anything about the spouse. You haven't been doing anything. You haven't been spending any time together. So for me, I always tell people that the spouse is the number one priority. I mean, people will say it's not so, but I believe your spouse is the number one priority, because if it is that spending time with your spouse is not on the plate after your kids are gone, who are you going to do so with? So what's your take on this?
Okay, for us, we don't have many options with regards to family members as babysitters, because 3/4 of our families on both sides migrated. They're overseas, right? So for us, and we're not the type of parents to just say, oh, leave you with a friend, or we're very skeptic when it comes on to who we leave our children with.
Okay.
So that's the next thing. But even though we don't have a lot of babysitters, we try to be creative with what space and time we have. Like recently, because with the whole COVID thing now, most persons are staying indoors, families are indoors and so forth. So you have to be creative.
Right.
Recently we decided that we're gonna go camping.
Okay.
So we inflated or one of those inflatable beds, and we were on our veranda with sheets and wine and so forth.
Very
and
nice.
we're there playing and so forth. And my son came out and said, "Man, you're doing all of this without me." I said, "Yes, it's mommy and daddy time, and next time is yours."
Yes, yes.
So he went back inside.
Yes.
But we just have to learn to be creative, because at the end of the day, as you said before, when the kids are grown and they move out, we are left with only each other. So we have to create memories that when we're old, we have it to look back on to say, man, we did enjoy our time together.
Boy, you give me an idea though, Jody. I'm not telling no lie. But that's very good. What is I want you to give other married people advice, persons with kids, persons who just have kids, because after kids sometimes they're I don't know how to say this I don't know how to say this, but after kids sometimes women tend to not want to have sex.
Yeah. It's true. It's a reality.
It's a reality. And I mean sometimes they go through depression, sometimes they just don't like how their bodies look. Do you think it is important for the husbands or the males there to kind of give them more confidence in, okay, you're beautiful? Because sometimes, we women will think, oh, you're just telling me I'm beautiful because you want sex. Because when we're dealing with our bodies, people are dealing with their bodies after having babies. So I want you to give the men and women their advice on how to go about even after having babies, how to go about rekindling having sex or romantic or just spending time together.
Okay. Well, as you said, it's a big change for a woman. Well, it's a big change for both. Having a child is a big responsibility, but I think a lot of men don't understand the level or the amount of change a woman goes through, both physically, emotionally, psychologically. And so it is important for the spouse to be very supportive during and even after the pregnancy, especially after. For me personally, with our first child, with him, I didn't get any stretch mark whatsoever on my tummy. Most was on my butt, and I didn't mind because it's not like I was walking and showing my butt. I didn't walk and show my tummy, but at least my butt was behind.
Right.
So I didn't mind then.
Right.
But with our second child, I got stretch marks, and for me that was like one of the worst things, because after you've gone through it once, you're thinking, okay, I've been there and I didn't get it, so I'm not going to get it now. Well, silly me. So when that came, it was like, oh man, I'm ruined. And my husband kept on saying to me, "You're perfect just the way you are. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why you keep complaining? You don't hear me complaining, so why you keep saying that?" And even though he was saying that, in my mind, I was like, you're only saying that because you have to say it.
Right.
Because even when you have a supportive partner, sometimes and even though they try to say the right things, if you're not in that place emotionally, psychologically, you will still not receive what they're saying as the truth.
True.
And for me, that was something I had to learn for myself, learn to accept that, listen, this is life. This is a part of life. And when I look at it, I said to myself, but there are even females out there who don't have children but have stretch marks. And then there are females out there who want children and can't have. So the fact that I had the opportunity to have both, I should be grateful, and I should wear my marks proudly.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
And I think that's what boosted my confidence to even go as far as doing lap dance for my husband recently in a
Of course.
lingerie, you
Of
know.
course. Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
it takes some time, especially after birth. And
Mm-hmm.
as you said
Mm-hmm.
earlier, some females might not feel that urge, but even if you don't feel that urge, don't stay there. Don't stay there emotionally, don't stay there physically, because you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to be neglecting your responsibility as a wife also.
That's a very good point. And I always say to people, even if you don't feel like having the physical sex, you can use your mouth,
Yeah, man, anything to spice up your life.
right? And it's so important, and I'm glad you said it, that no matter what, don't neglect your position as a wife. Don't always say, well, this happened now and I have the baby and the baby is a priority now. Don't neglect it, because at the end of the day, you also need a husband to help to take care of that
Yeah.
child. And the truth is, if it is that you're neglecting your husband, who is it that you're expecting to take care of that need? And we can't sit and say, okay, well, the husband's supposed to understand because I had a kid a year ago, so I'm supposed to still understand. No, because I mean, everybody still have needs.
Yeah.
And the most that we can do is to probably get help for ourselves if it is that we're feeling as if, why, well, I just have this child, so I don't want to do this. And, because and the funny thing is, some women also after birth, after having their child, see sex and intimacy as dirty,
Mm-hmm.
right? So things like that we women need to deal with, so that we can take care of our husband and even take care of ourselves, because sex is not just for the man, it's also for us. It also helps us also. Yeah. So this was a good conversation, and you gave a lot of tips and you really helped. And I know you are helping persons out there who are suffering or going through certain similar situations. And I'm sure you gave people ideas, because you definitely gave me some ideas. So want to thank you, Jody, for being on the show. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me also, Gabe.
Yes, and I want to tell our viewers out there and our listeners out there to just stay tuned for even next week, Tuesday, again, and listen out for more. Thank you.